I have this PNG image that I took the background off already with GIMP, and so I'm going to make it so I can cut it out with the Roland cut lines. I want to be able to cut around this graphic, and around each of the text. So I'm going to go up here to Object. I'm going to go to Trace Bitmap. Path. Trace Bitmap. I'm going to darken this up until there's pretty much no white in the inside of anything. Just like that. Apply that trace to the bitmap. And then I'm going to convert this I'm going to go to Layers and Objects. No, I'm going to go to Fill and Stroke. I'm going to click on the Fill button and make it no fill. Click on the Stroke Paint. Click on this color, and then I'm going to make the color green. I made it green. It doesn't matter what color it is. And then you can see it's got a cutout line. Well, we got to convert it, label it a cutout line, but it's got a line around everything now. It looks like it has some dots in the middle. I'll remove those. But first, I'm going to move these out so that there's a little room for error with the cut. So I'm going to go back up to Path. I'm going to go to Outset. That moves it just a little bit, and I am going to do that again. Path, Outset. If you want, and I don't want it quite that much, and so I'm going to go up here to Edit, Preferences. I'm going to change the behavior of steps, and I'm going to make it so that it only moves outsets by 1/4 of a pixel instead of a full pixel. And then I'm going to just go ahead and close that, and then I'm going to go in just a little bit, Inset. Now the Inset key is Control parenthesis open, and so I'm going to do this just a couple more times till I like it. I'm going to do it just like that, and then I'm going to go up to Layer, Object, Layers and Objects. So now this is my path. That's garbage, that was just there. Okay, so this is my path that I just created, the green. And I'm going to make this invisible so I see only my paths, and then you can see there's little places where it's going to cut inside. I'm going to press on the node tool, which is N on the keyboard, or this, and then I'm going to select those ones that are inside. I don't want it to cut anything in that area. They're too small of cuts for me to matter, so I'm going to just delete those so the machine doesn't waste time on them. And I use Control and the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. And then I have the node tool selected, and then center click to move around. Okay, and once I got the little particles out, there's another one there. I don't want to pick those anyway, so let's click elsewhere. Okay, yeah, that looks good now. A couple of these have weird little dents. You can fix them up if you want. Add some nodes on both sides and then delete the nodes between, and then correct the shape if you need to. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to fix this B real quick. Same thing, I'm just going to add a node on each side, which on a straight you don't really need it on both sides because it's already going to be straight. And scrolling around. Okay, yeah, that looks good. And then I'm going to turn this back on. Now, one thing with this program, if you have text, it only likes paths. So, like when I go to the next program, I'm going to click on this. This makes me back into. So now you can see how close the cut line is going to be. It's going to be really close, but that's okay for this. Now, if you want, you could add another cut line that's, that's cuts out the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Cuts it out as a square so that you don't have as much. Or you can change that. Actually, let's change that to a perf cut. So I'm going to change the color of that to something else. pink. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure all these files, this rectangle, it's not going to like that when I go to the other program, which is Scribus. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to go up here to Path, Object to Path. And the image can't, so everything is either a path or an image, especially with text. It does not like text that's not made into a path or an image. So now I'm going to save this whole thing, save as. I'm going to go to document properties so I can see this in inches to see how big this is. Change this to inches too. This is 14 inches. That's huge. Okay, but I can scale it down in the Roland software in the Versaworks. So I'm going to save this. I think I bombed it. I might have brought something else over the top of it. I did. I tried saving it and it brought this menu up. It was on my other screen. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to cancel this. And I'm going to save this, export, save this as an SVG file. I'm going to just call it 2 because I think I already have 1. Save that. Now I'm going to open up Scribus. I'm going to open that SVG file I just opened. Blessings Homeschool Academy 2. Open that. Okay, I hold Control and scroll my mouse so that I can see that. And then I'm going to go up here to Edit, Colors and Fills. This pink one is going to be the PerfCutContour. Click Is Spot. Okay. And this is going to be the CutContour. CutContour. It has to be written out like that too. And then it has to have Is Spot checked. I don't know why. So that the green will cut and the pink will be a PerfCut. Okay. And then you go up here to File and Export as EPS. And then it tells you all the errors. I'm going to ignore them. And I'm going to save it as this. And from this point, I can bring it into the program that's called Versaworks, and it'll recognize these cut lines. That's all.